Moot morning, moot morning, moot morning, moot morning.
Calling Moot Morning. And let me just say at the outset to everyone here, Moot Morning.
Good morning.
Today, for our question and answer about all things moot court, we have a very special guest hailing all the way from Virginia. And his name is Devin deBruyn. Devin, how are you this morning? And Moot Morning.
Moot morning, Ricky. Moot morning, Natsumi. Good to see both of you. I'm doing well. Doing well. How are y'all doing?
Well, we're doing great. And you mentioned Natsumi, of course, our assistant coach, Natsumi Covey, is here this morning as well. Moot morning, Natsumi.
Good morning.
So Devin, the reason that we're doing these recorded interviews is really to try to answer some of the questions that we get every year from those rising 2Ls that are interested in the team. And we're hoping that by answering some of the questions that come up every year, you know, we will kind of calm some of the fears, especially this year, that may be out there with regard to whether you should even try out for a team. My hope is that by seeing a few of those that have already come through the program, that it'll actually make people feel a little bit better about their decision. So thank you for being here this morning. Thank you for agreeing to be interviewed. Let me just start out with, you know, what I think is on a lot of these 2Ls minds right now, which is, should I try out or not? And so what is it that really motivated you to try out for the team in the first place?
I think the first thing that motivated me was I wanted the opportunity to practice all of the skills that a lawyer is going to need, and all of the skills that I was hearing about in school, primarily the research, the writing, and then eventually the public speaking, the oral advocacy. But I really wanted the opportunities to really apply all of that legal research and writing. And, you know, I was learning an LRW class. We have a whole year of that. You know, having the opportunity to actually work on real, well, you know, moot court problems, but they're novel legal issues that are unresolved that the courts are currently facing. Most of the competitions involve, you know, currently like issues that are currently being, you know, resolved by the courts. So it was just a really interesting opportunity to be able to apply all of those legal research and writing skills to these real legal problems, and to you know, have an opportunity to kind of compete at the same time, which is really cool. And, you know, see how you stack up. And so that's what initially motivated me. And also the opportunity to work on a team. I sort of was drawn to that collaborative aspect of it as well.
Yeah, your path to the team and the process through which you not only wrote briefs, but then also became an oral advocate is a little bit different than what the path that some may have. You came to the team originally as a brief writer only. And, you know, as you certainly turned out to be a great brief writer, having best briefs all over the place. And so, you know, thank you for all of the hard work that you put in as a brief writer. Briefs are so important to the competitions, as you know, because even though you may have some great oral advocates that attend the competition and go into those particular rounds, that brief, for the most part, carries with you after you turn it in. And so it may be 30% of your round, it may be 40% of your round, but a good brief, and certainly you were writing excellent briefs, can take you a long way through a tournament. And so that brief writer aspect is extremely important. But some people come into the program just wanting to be an oral advocate or wanting to be a brief writer and oral advocate? You wanted to only write briefs, at least initially. Why was that kind of the direction that you chose?
I think because I was drawn to just the writing aspect more than the public speaking. I've never been much of a natural public speaker. It's always something that's just scared me, quite frankly. Just I would say actually terrified me. So it was just something I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do the oral advocacy. I kind of thought, well, I'm probably never going to actually do this as a lawyer, the public speaking part, but I'll probably do a lot of the writing. So that's why I chose just to try out as the brief writer.
So obviously I know the story, who else don't, but what then motivated you to accept the challenge of not only being a brief writer, but also being an oral advocate on the team?
I think after the first competition I did as a brief writer, and even, just so people know, if you're only a brief writer or if you only write the brief for the competition, you still attend the competition. So the first one I did, I was there. I sat in through all the rounds, watched it, and I think I realized it was just a golden opportunity, sort of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to develop and practice these skills of oral advocacy and public speaking and advocacy in front of oftentimes real judges in a situation where it's not a real client matter on the line. And I didn't want the first time, if that ever were to happen, I didn't want the first time I was speaking to judges to be the real thing. And so I just thought, I'm never going to have the opportunity to do this again. I'm lucky to be on the team and to have this opportunity, and I want to take full advantage of it. And I know it's going to be nerve-wracking and it's going to really push me past my limits, but it's going to be worth it. And definitely I was an oral advocate for 3 competitions, I believe. And I was definitely very nervous, very, very, very nervous. But, and it got a lot better at the second one. And then by the third one, I think I was having fun with it and I was ready to come back, do some more, but I was a 3-0 at that point.
Yeah, your story is really one of my favorites, Devin, because you go to that first tournament. By the way, how did that brief do at that first tournament?
Oh, the very first one I did?
Yeah.
I think it won best brief.
I think it did. Yeah, I think it won best brief.
It did, yeah.
Wasn't the last best brief that you received during your time on the team, but it was your first. Your very first brief was best brief at the tournament, which is extremely impressive. And even though you were already certainly having success as a brief writer, you did take that challenge and went ahead and also worked through the oral advocacy part of this program. And you were talking about becoming more comfortable. You became so comfortable that you received a best speaker at a national moot court competition, didn't you?
Yeah, that was that third one. Second place. So.
Yeah, second place to Mr. Billy Calv, who's also been interviewed. Not a bad place.
Yeah, second to Billy that's pretty good.
I think being second to Billy is being first to everybody else. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
It was so wonderful I just feel like it was such a validation of your decision to actually step out of your comfort zone and do the hard work that was necessary. And so, it was great. I still remember when you won that award, and it was well deserved for the work that you did. Now, of course,